hear water flowing through.
Whew, nice and hot. What's up guys, my name is Jaden. I'm currently converting this 40-foot school bus that I'm in into my full-time off-grid tiny home on wheels, and I'm documenting the entire thing here on this YouTube channel. So if you like that kind of thing, make sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all the progress I'm making on the bus. If you want to see what it took to get to this point in the build, feel free to go check out my channel. I have a ton of videos going over literally everything I've done up to this point, from getting the bus here and tearing out seats to where it is right now and everything in between. So make sure to go check out the channel if you want to see what it took to get to this point. Last you saw me, what did I do last time? Last you saw me, I installed that kitchen sink right over there. It's awesome. Running water in the bus through a faucet, no less. It's pretty sick. Off camera, I finished the drainage for the sink. So I know I told you in previous videos, but if this is your first time here, this is what I'm doing for my sink drainage in the kitchen. It's all draining down into this 5-gallon jug. This is a pretty sweet one. I don't know the brand. I'll put a link to it in the description if you want to get it. Feel free. I don't have any affiliation with them, but it's 5-gallon with 2 openings, one back there and then one here, different sizes, and it has a handle there. Makes it really easy to handle. Get it? Handle. However, the sink is not actually fully complete because I can only right now have cold water coming from it. If I try to, switch it to hot water, I'll show you. Obviously, cold water, great. If I try to switch to hot water, obviously nothing comes out. And why is that? Well, it's because I don't have my hot water lines and my water heater hooked up yet. And that's what I'm going to be doing in today's video. Don't mind all these blankets. I was taking a nap in here earlier, but I should have everything I need. I went ahead and ran to a couple different stores today and got hopefully everything I should need. First and most importantly is the propane tank and the propane. I went ahead and got an 11-pound propane vertical cylinder from a tractor supply store, farming supply store. And then I went ahead and went to Home Depot and got all my different fittings and tubing and tools and all that junk, and spent way too much money yet again on something that I will do probably one time ever. Hopefully one time ever, and I don't have to redo anything. So let me show you what I got. So the first thing I got was this propane tank gauge. Pretty self-explanatory. It's going to tell me the level of propane in the tank. What's next is this propane regulator. This is a dual stage propane regulator. It regulates it down to the standard, whatever it is. It's like 11 inches water column, whatever that standard amount is. This is going to regulate it down, I guess. So there's single stage and dual stage regulators. I guess a dual stage regulator is supposed to just be better and make it better for consistent usage. Let's see, for my actual tubing, I went ahead and got this type L flexible copper tubing. I've never worked with this stuff before. Seems pretty easy. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. This is 3/8 diameter, interior diameter. 20 feet of it should be more than enough for what I need. And to connect it all to each other, I got a bunch of different fittings. So I'm going to be using flare fittings, or flare connections, I think is what it's called. Basically what that means is the inside of the coil, the tubing, you like insert a flaring tool. That's what this is. I got a flaring tool. So you basically insert the tubing up into this like little thing. I'll show you here when I actually do it. You tighten it down and it expands the opening of the tubing so that you can basically fit a coupling or an elbow or something on one end and a nut coming from the underside of it, or the non-flared side of it, and tighten it all up, and it's supposed to make a gas or airtight connection. Never done it before. We'll see how that goes. I also have this tape. This is, I can't remember what exactly it's called. It's not Teflon tape. This is like gas line specific. PTFE, that's what it is. PTFE thread seal tape. So if you're going to be doing anything with gas and you have like that blue or the white tape with the blue packaging on hand, don't use that, because that is Teflon tape. It's made for water. So Make sure you get some of this if you're using any threaded fittings. So for the fittings, I got some couplings with a female receiver and then a male flared end. I got some elbows with one flared end and one male non-flared end. And then I got these flared nuts. That's about it. And then hopefully, to avoid using elbows where possible, I got this tube bending tool. Ideally, I use the least amount of elbows as possible. Maybe I won't even have to use any. Who knows? Guess we'll see. But yeah, I got this to, you know, do some bends in the tubing. So yeah, hopefully this should be a pretty straightforward, easy process. But let me take you down to where I'm going to be mounting the propane tank. So if you're not new here, you know that my original plan was to mount my tank underneath this cabinet, and you'll notice that I was absolutely going to do that because I took out this shelf because I couldn't fit the propane tank in there with the shelf, so I just nixed the shelf entirely. But this would have been so easy to plumb into my water heater, because there's my water heater right there at the bottom right corner of the box. There's my gas inlet right there. So that would have been really easy. However, through my research, I realized that it's probably not super safe to put it there for a number of different reasons. One, I couldn't have a properly vented, sealed locker for the propane tank in that position. I guess I could, but it would be really like tight and difficult to access that and the water heater as well. And ideally, to be honest with you, I would have the propane tank on the exterior of my bus, just in case there is a leak. Propane isn't leaking inside my bus, it's leaking outside of the bus. So let me go show you where I'm putting it instead. I'm gonna take a trip to the passenger side of the bus. Haven't been there in a while. All right, so here's where I'll be keeping the propane tank. One moment. Gonna need to replace that. Anywho, this is where this bad boy is gonna live. Now, I'll make a sealed locker for this as well, just like a box essentially with a latch on it to secure it into place within this big old container. Obviously we don't want this thing sliding around, jumping around in here. But basically, I'm gonna have the connections coming off of the propane tank there, obviously with the tank gauge and then the pressure regulator, and then it's just gonna go straight up through the top of the box, through the floor, through the insulation and the subfloor, and right in the corner where my stove and my cabinets will meet. Looking back, I definitely could have gotten a bigger one if I knew this was gonna be my plan, but you know, we'll see. I can at least you know, switch it out if I need to at some point down the road, but for now I'm gonna stick with this 11-pounder. That's unfortunate. And that's basically the plan. So I guess let's go ahead and get to it. I'm gonna start by connecting the tank gauge and the pressure regulator to the propane tank. I'll tell you one thing, I don't know the first thing about working with propane and doing it safely, so don't just copy what I'm doing, but I do know that the valve is closed on here, so should be fine to connect a gauge to, not worry about any leakage. And it's a brand new tank, brand splanking new. So there's a gauge and pressure regulator right there. Kind of looks stupid, but whatever, it's all good in the hood. Now let's figure some other stuff out. Basically from here I need to insert an elbow and then go up, as in that way, with the copper tubing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and thread this on here. Okay, so that should be on there well and good enough. Now how do we do this tubing here, I wonder? Okay, so I got my tubing here. That needs to be opened. Pretty thin. Oh, look at that. Thank you, Home Depot. Defective out the factory, out the box. That's awesome. So, oh, this is super easy to maneuver. So, basically, what I need to do is get this to fit in here, which I don't exactly understand. Because basically I think how this works is that you get the tubing, insert the tubing into the fitting here, have this nut on the tubing already, and then you just tighten it down with the flared end. Oh, okay, so flared end goes over it. Probably. I don't know. We'll see. Basically, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, so apparently I got the wrong tubing. So I just went and got the right tubing. I got 3/8 interior diameter tubing when I needed 3/8 outside diameter tubing. So this should work now. The other thing is, this tubing right here, this is the only 3/8 outer diameter I could find. This is called refrigeration tubing. Now the type that I got before was type L tubing. Don't entirely know what the difference is. A quick Google search told me I could still use this for propane. It says I can use it for natural gases, which propane is not technically a natural gas, but I don't know. If it doesn't work, I'll let you guys know if it blows up or something. All right, I don't know if it was videoing just then, but I made a mistake and I flared the end without putting the nut on first, so then I couldn't put the nut on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it right this time. So I'm gonna put the nut on the end of my tubing here, slide it down a little bit. I'm gonna grab my little gauge here for my flaring tool. Got the 3/8 mark right here, or the 3/8 one right here, so I'm gonna clamp it down on the 3/8 right there. Got my little, basically like my vise or whatever this tool is called, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm gonna slide it down on this gauge until I get it hovering over the opening for the tubing, and then just start going to town with this guy. There we go. Man, this tool is lubed up. I'm not a fan of this tool. It's very clunky. It's the only one that was available. Now, as you can see, the end of this is flared out. Very nice. And now, can't pull this nut off. So when I screw the nut into the, whatchamacallit, the other end, the other fitting, it's going to create a seal that is supposedly airtight. And Google quickly tells me that I should never use thread seal for flare fittings. So this should be all that's necessary. So basically it's going to go down, drop down on the fitting here, thusly. And then when I do it correctly, it'll work. But until then, it won't. There we go. So now, I guess we should drill a hole in the bust of the floor. Drill a hole in the floor of the bus yet again. Exciting! And who's surprised? Not me. Everything is right directly in the way of where I need to be. Nothing new here. Just another day in the office. So I'm gonna drill a hole in the floor of my bus. Can you see? Yeah. Right here in this corner, basically where the base of my oven and stove, or whatever I end up building for my base for the oven stove, is gonna meet with the base of the cabinet. And I'm just gonna drill a hole in the bottom of the cabinet here. Just gotta say, my camera's at 38% and it decided to turn off automatically on me there, GoPro. So anyway, yeah, drilling a hole here, insert my line through the hole, make the connection down below with the propane tank, and then run the lines through the bottom of the cabinets to my water heater. And then at some point down the road, whenever I get my oven and stove, I'll fix the connections and tee it off or whatever I need to do with the connections there to make sure that it can run to both devices. But for now I don't have that, so I'm just going to worry about running it to the water heater. So let me grab my hole saw. I have absolutely no idea whatsoever where this is going to come out. I do know that it'll come out, you know, within the box. I just don't know where within the box. Okay, well, there is quite the problem that has arisen. That problem is, I think I'm trying to drill straight through a bracket that's holding on the thing. So I'm gonna drill slightly to the left. And see, there was no possible way for me to know where that bracket was. I managed to drill on both sides of the bracket. I don't know if you can quite see down there. I'm gonna get a light for you. So yeah, basically there's a bracket down there. I drilled on both sides of it. I have no idea how to determine where it's coming out. I'm not drilling another hole. Total of 4 holes, 3 on the inside, 1 in the box, none of which perfectly line up, but you might be able to see there is a line that I can make in that 3rd hole with the hole that's in the box, so we can make it work. I'll definitely have to put some chafe protectant on the copper tubing at some point down the road. That's for sure, but not today. All right, guys, so I got my tubing run down into the box. Let's go down in the box, make the connection to the propane tank, and then come back up and run this through the cabinets into the water heater. Excuse me. Filmed in front of a live studio audience. Scooch this on over here. I think this is gonna work out really well. Do a couple little short turns here. Okay, so there is the connection to the tank. Now, once I get this all fleshed out and finalized, I'll make sure that this line, this copper line, is not rubbing up against anything in there. I either use spray foam to lock it in place or put some chafe protectant or both. But we got that done, so let's go inside and make the runs to the water heater. Okay, so I got a bunch of elbows at the store. I'm hoping I don't have to use many, if any. So I'm gonna try to bend the pipe as much as I can to get my desired, whatever you call it. All right, bending that pipe is not very easy, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my elbows. I've already showed you all the connections that I'm gonna be making, so until I get to the water heater, I'm gonna go ahead and do this off camera because I'm low-key losing my mind. I'll be right back. Excuse me. Okay, I'm down at the water heater. Kind of cheated and made it way easier on myself. And I made this stupid little connection that utilized 3 different parts. And then instead of going back and through the backside underneath the toe kicks, I just went directly underneath the toe kicks in the front here. And I'm going to go ahead and secure it to like the top underside of the toe kicks whenever in the future with some like padded hose clamps, hose clips, whatever. But we are at the home stretch here. We are about to hook up on the gas inlet with the gas line, but that is a 1/2 inch inlet and all the other stuff that I'm doing is 3/8. So I went to Home Depot for the 5th time today. I think it's a rite of passage for any DIYer to have to go to the hardware store 5 times in a single day for the same project. But went ahead and got this. This should be the last thing I need. Why is it a valve? Literally have no idea. I didn't need it to be a valve, but this is the only thing that I could find with a 1/2 inch female end to a 3/8 flared receiver. So this is going to thread on this side onto the actual gas inlet. I'll put some thread seal on that, and then I'll go ahead and hook up this side to the flared end with one of those flare nuts, and at that point in time I should be able to hook up the wires to the already wired up wire for the water heater, plug in my remote for it, turn on all the valves, and then test the hot water, and hopefully nothing leaks, catches on fire, or explodes. We'll see. And I hope this is the last time I'm down in this corner for a long time. I'm gonna put a little you know, thing on this thing. I really enjoy how easy this is to get to. Oh my God. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm only doing 3 turns. Should be plenty. Should be plenty. Okay. Okay, well, that's on there. Let's freaking connect the gas line and start testing stuff. Oh. I didn't realize how little room I left down here to wire in, so that wiring all that behind the water heater was such a nightmare. But I got my little remote hooked up, and this is eventually, I think, gonna go actually on the bathroom side of things. It's gonna like mount on the bathroom wall so I can adjust the temperature of the water, like for the shower and whatnot. But yeah, this is on. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off for now, and then I can switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit and then adjust the temperature accordingly. So, okay, so let's go ahead and make sure that, yep, that valve is on. Okay, so gas. Let's do a test here first. No air bubbles forming. Good. Okay, so we've got a leak right there. So let's tighten that one up. And this is just soapy water that I'm spraying on there. This all looks good here. Okay. So now what I want to do, turn on the valve for water to go to the water heater. Turn on the water heater. Switch it to Fahrenheit because I'm American. $100. How's that sound? Good? I don't know if it's doing it yet or not. We'll see. And turn the pump. So it can sense that water is flowing. What if I do this? Okay, I can hear water. Oh, I see a little leak there. Oh, and I see a leak there. Well, this is a fun little surprise. Okay. Well, I forgot I initially only hand tightened and did not put Teflon tape on those 2 inlets and outlets, the water inlet and water outlet. So no duh, there was a leak. I just used Teflon tape to thread the seals and tighten them with channel locks pretty tight. So there should be no more water leak. I still need to fix that propane leak, but I want to see if this water heater works. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna turn it back on, turn on the propane again, and we'll see if we're having a party or... Water heater's on. I'm gonna turn the valve on for the water to get to the water heater. Turn the pump on again. Propane's on. Pump is going. Pump stopped. Let's run the water. I hear water flowing through the heater, but no leaks, so that's nice. Turn on the hot water. Nerfing. Wait, is that because the valve's off? There we go. Okay, let's see. It's on fire. It's getting warmer. 90s flicks. I want to see how hot this can get. 123 degrees Fahrenheit is the maximum. How long does it take to get there? It's at 96, 100 right now. It's at 105, 107, 111, 113. What do people usually shower at? Not this hot. This is hot, hot. I'm about to not be able to hold my hand under there. 120. Whew. Yeah, it's too hot for me to hold. I don't know if you can see the steam on it, but that's hot water, 123 degrees. And how about some warm water? Yeah, the mixer's working good. Cold water. Nice and cold. Hot water. Whew, nice and hot. Amazing. Amazing. Pretty sick. This thing works pretty decent. It's an instant water heater. Instant. It's not exactly instant, but it does heat up pretty quick. This is basically going to poke through this wall from underneath, and it's going to mount somewhere over here, depending on, you know, where my shower ends up. Basically, I have the stuff kind of all ready for my shower. I'm going to be using Schluter Curdy board for my waterproofing backer. So I got all that and I'm waiting on a shower pan right now. But basically it's going to be a 3-wall alcove shower right here. So we're looking here, walk into the bathroom from this doorway, and shower pan is going to be here. It's going to be a 32 inch by a 32 inch, which almost perfectly goes within this open space here. I'm going to build it up on a box the same level as the 2 boxes for my wheel well boxes. So it's going to be a 3-wall. I'm going to have some kind of door or shower curtain coming here. And right now you're at the POV of where my shower head's going to be. So shower head's going to be right up here pointing towards this wall, so that when I have it on, it's not going to spray all over the place out of my shower this way. And yeah, that's about it. So guys, looks like I'm in jail right now. Thanks so much for watching. I got something in my eye. Hot water in the bus. Running. Pretty sick. Yeah, I will say, you know, for the money, this water heater was pretty decent. Freaking hassle and a half to run the lines though. If you can get away with using like rubber tubing and stuff, I would probably go that route, unless you're comfortable working with copper. This is my first time working with copper tubing at all, and I mean, it's just not very easy. It's not very difficult either, but especially for your first time and having to buy all these different specialty tools to do it, I mean, if I could have found the rubber tubing to do it, I absolutely would have done the rubber tubing, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it works pretty well. I'm gonna still have to fix those 2 minor leaks, so I'm just going to redo those fittings, but I'm not going to video it, not going to worry about doing that. But I will get those fixed, get my sensors and everything too, so don't worry. I will have some gas detectors present in the bus for any future leaks that may happen. But yeah, hot water in the bus, running out of the sink, and soon to be shower. Pretty exciting stuff. So yeah, anyways guys, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more of this build and what it took to get to this point in the build, feel free to go check out my channel. I've got a lot of videos on there already taking you through everything it's taken to get to this point in the build, from getting the bus here and ripping out seats to getting it to this point, getting hot running water in the bus and everything in between. So make sure to go check out those videos if you're interested, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.